Welcome back to the Daily Earnings Reports podcast, where we go beyond the headlines and deep dive into the heart of corporate earnings. If you're enjoying the show, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Today, we're diving headfirst into Netflix's Q4 2024 earnings report. And trust me, things are about to get interesting. We've got their shareholder letter and SEC Form 8K filing ready to go. So let's get started.
All right, let's unpack this. So the big story is that Netflix is back in a major way. They're back in growth mode, 16% jump in revenue year over year, and they added a record-breaking 19 million paid subscribers just in Q4, closing out the year with over 302 million global memberships.
Wow, okay, 19 million new subscribers. That's impressive. But what's really driving this surge? Is it like just the holidays, holiday hype, or something more?
Oh, it's definitely more than just holiday binge watching. Netflix is attributing this growth to a few key factors. One, they've nailed their content strategy, delivering a diverse lineup of shows and movies that are resonating globally. And two, they're getting much smarter about tailoring their content to specific markets, and that is paying off big time.
Right. Not just about throwing money at big budget productions anymore. It's about understanding what audiences around the world actually want to watch. So what kind of content is really moving the needle for them?
Well, they have, those big hits like Squid Game Season 2, which is already breaking records. But it's not just about mega blockbusters. They're also seeing success with films like Carry On, which landed in their all-time top 10 movie list. And you can't forget the international scene. Shows like Senna from Brazil and The Empress from Germany are really proving that Netflix is a global force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, it's like they've cracked the code on creating content that appeals to a wide range of tastes. And it's clearly reflected in their dominance of the Nielsen top 10 streaming charts week after week.
Exactly. They're giving people a reason to stay glued to their screens.
Sure.
And that's a powerful position to be in.
Yeah. And speaking of staying glued to the screen, remember when everyone thought Netflix would never, ever venture into live programming? Well, they're not just dipping their toes in the water anymore. They're making waves.
Absolutely. They broadcast the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight, which became their most streamed sporting event ever. And then they secured the rights to some NFL Christmas Day games. And guess what? Those became the two most streamed NFL games in history. That's a pretty bold move considering they were once purely an on-demand platform.
Yeah. So is Netflix about to become the next ESPN? Are they going to start bidding on every major sporting event out there?
I don't think so. Their strategy seems to be more about cherry-picking can't-miss events, the ones that generate massive hype and draw in viewers who wouldn't normally tune in to regular sports programming. I don't think they're looking to become a full-fledged sports broadcaster. I think they're looking to offer these exclusive events as a way to enhance their already robust content library.
Right. Makes sense. It's a smart move, especially when you consider, the fierce competition in the streaming landscape. Speaking of competition, Netflix is laying out their big bets for 2025, and, it's a lineup that's sure to keep subscribers hooked.
Oh, absolutely. Get ready for the return of heavy hitters like Squid Game, Wednesday, and Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And they're also bringing back fan favorites like Ginny and Georgia and Alice in Borderland.
Right. It's a smart strategy to leverage these proven successes, but what about new content? Are they taking any risks?
Definitely. They're introducing a whole slate of new shows from international dramas to a series based on the classic Italian novel The Leopard. This commitment to diverse storytelling is a key part of their global strategy. And let's not forget about the live events they've got lined up for 2025, 52 weeks of WWE programming, a new John Mulaney variety show, and yes, even more NFL on Christmas Day.
Okay, so they're pulling out all the stops, but this level of investment in content has to come at a cost, right?
Of course. Creating and acquiring this much content requires significant capital, and that's where things get really interesting. Let's talk about how Netflix plans to foot the bill. Ads, pricing, and those extra members we keep hearing about.
All right, so let's break it down. The ad-supported plan has been a game changer for them. It's attracting tons of new subscribers, especially those looking for a more affordable option.
And not just new subscribers. This ad-supported tier is attracting a different demographic altogether, one that might not have subscribed to Netflix at the regular price point. In fact, the ad-supported plan accounted for over 55% of new signups in the countries where it's available. And they're extending the extra member with ads feature globally. giving users more flexibility and choice.
So they're finding creative ways to make their service more accessible and appealing to a wider audience. But we can't ignore the elephant in the room: price increases. Remember that price hike we were talking about earlier? Well, they just announced another one for most plans in the U.S., Canada, Portugal, and Argentina.
Right, and these price adjustments aren't going unnoticed. But Netflix is quick to point out that these increases are all about reinvesting in future content. They're essentially saying, we're giving you more, so we need to charge a bit more.
It's a delicate balancing act. They need to keep subscribers happy while also ensuring they have the resources to keep churning out those must-watch shows and movies. So how are these strategies impacting their bottom line?
Well, their financial health is looking pretty robust. They hit a major milestone exceeding $10 billion in operating income for the first time ever. And they're projecting a whopping $8 billion in free cash flow for 2025.
Okay, hold on. For those of us who aren't financial wizards, break down what those numbers actually mean.
Essentially, it means Netflix is making a lot of money, and they have a lot of financial flexibility to invest in future growth. That $10 billion operating income figure is a clear sign that their business model is working, and the $8 billion free cash flow projection indicates they'll have ample resources to fund their ambitious plans.
So they're making bank, they're producing hit after hit, and they're attracting millions of new subscribers. Are they on track to completely dominate the entertainment industry?
Well, they currently hold about 6% of the global entertainment market, which they estimate to be worth around $650 billion.
Right.
That leaves a lot of room for expansion.
That's a huge potential market. But let's not forget, they're not operating in a vacuum. What about the competition?
You're right. The competition is fierce. Netflix is facing challenges from both traditional entertainment giants and those deep-pocketed tech companies we talked about earlier. Everyone is vying for our attention and our subscription dollars.
So the streaming wars are far from over. What does this mean for Netflix moving forward?
It means they can't afford to rest on their laurels. You know, they've done a fantastic job of staying ahead of the curve so far, but they'll need to keep innovating and adapting to maintain their leadership position. Remember, they were once the underdog disrupting the traditional TV industry, and now they're the ones being disrupted.
So the big question is, what's next for Netflix? What will be their next big move to solidify their dominance? We'll delve into that right after we take a quick look at some other big tech earnings later in the show.
Well, you know, they've already shown they're willing to shake things up. Look at their forays into live programming and gaming.
Yeah, the Squid Game was like a massive hit. But do you think gaming is going to become a core part of their business, or is it more of a side hustle?
I think it's definitely more than just a side hustle. Think about it. They're not just making games, they're building interactive worlds. Imagine a future where you don't just watch Stranger Things. You actually get to play a part in the story. You know, that's the kind of immersive experience they're creating.
Wow. Yeah, that's a whole new level of engagement. It'd be amazing to see how they weave gaming into their existing shows and movies. But creating these interactive experiences can't be cheap. How are they going to balance these investments with their, already massive content budget?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. I mean, they're already spending billions on movies and shows, and now they're adding gaming to the mix. It's a risky strategy, but it could pay off big time if they can pull it off.
Yeah. It all comes down to execution, right? I mean, if they can create compelling games that truly enhance the viewing experience, then they could have a real winner on their hands.
Yeah.
But if they fall short, they risk alienating both gamers and loyal subscribers.
Exactly. They need to strike a delicate balance. They can't lose sight of their core strength, which is producing high-quality movies and shows. But they also need to be, forward-thinking and embrace new technologies and formats like gaming.
Yeah. It's a tough tightrope to walk.
But they've proven time and again that they're not afraid to take risks. I mean, remember a few years ago, the idea of Netflix producing original content was unheard of. And now they're winning Emmys and Oscars and setting the standard for the entire industry.
It's a testament to their ability to adapt and innovate. They're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the world of entertainment.
So with all these bold moves and ambitious plans, what's the outlook for Netflix's stock?
Well, it's been on a roller coaster ride over the past few years.
Yeah.
But their strong Q4 performance and their ambitious plans for 2025 have definitely given investors reason to be optimistic. Yeah, of course, there are always risks. The streaming market is like becoming increasingly crowded, and consumer tastes can change quickly.
That's true. But Netflix has a few key advantages that set them apart. They have a global reach, a massive library of content, and a deep understanding of their audience. They're also masters of data and analytics, which allows them to personalize recommendations and tailor their offerings to different markets.
It's like they have a secret weapon, like a crystal ball that tells them what we want to watch before we even know it ourselves.
Well, maybe not a crystal ball, but they're definitely using data in very sophisticated ways to anticipate what viewers want, and that gives them a significant edge in this competitive landscape.
So for those of us who are invested in Netflix or thinking about investing, what what should we be watching for in the coming months?
Keep an eye on their subscriber growth, their content spending, and their progress in new areas like gaming and live programming.
It's also important to keep an eye on the competition, right? The streaming wars are far from over, and Netflix will need to stay ahead of the curve to maintain its dominance.
Absolutely. It's a dynamic and ever-evolving industry, and the companies that are willing to adapt and innovate are the ones that will ultimately succeed.
Yeah. You've given us a lot to think about today. We've talked about their impressive financial performance, their content strategy, their forays into live programming and gaming. But what will be the defining characteristic of Netflix's next chapter? What will be the big idea that keeps them ahead of the competition?
That's the question everyone is asking right now. I mean, they've already disrupted the traditional television industry, and they're now challenging the very notion of what it means to be an entertainment company.
Yeah, perhaps their next big move will be something we haven't even imagined yet. Maybe they'll create an entirely new form of entertainment, something that blends the best of streaming, gaming, and interactive experiences.
Or maybe they'll focus on becoming a one-stop shop for all our entertainment needs, offering not just movies and TV shows, but also, music, podcasts, and even live events. Imagine a Netflix that's not just a streaming service, but a portal to an entire world of entertainment tailored specifically to your interests.
That's a fascinating idea. It'd be like having a personal entertainment concierge curating the perfect mix of content for you based on your mood, your preferences, and maybe even your biometrics.
The possibilities are endless. But one thing is for sure, Netflix is not content with simply being a streaming giant. They have their sights set on something much bigger, and I, for one, can't wait to see what they come up with next.
It's like we're watching the evolution of entertainment unfold right before our eyes. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be looking back at this moment and say, remember when Netflix was just a streaming service?
Yeah. It's a good reminder that in the world of technology and entertainment, the only constant is change. And the companies that embrace that change, the ones that are willing to constantly reinvent themselves, are the ones that will ultimately succeed.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Netflix's journey is a testament to the power of innovation and the importance of staying ahead of the curve. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to the stories.
That's what truly captivates us. The stories that make us laugh, cry, think, and feel. Those are the stories that transcend borders and connect us on a deeper level.
Yeah. And Netflix seems to understand that. They're not just creating content, they're creating worlds that we can escape to, worlds that make us feel something.
Think about the impact of a show like Squid Game. It started as a Korean drama, but it quickly became a global phenomenon, sparking conversations and debates about class inequality and the human condition.
Yeah. It's a testament to the power of storytelling to transcend borders and connect us on a deeper level. And it's something that Netflix is uniquely positioned to do, given their global reach and their commitment to diverse storytelling.
Exactly. They're telling stories that resonate with people all over the world. And that's a powerful thing.
Well, folks, it looks like we've reached the end of another deep dive into the world of Netflix. But the conversation doesn't have to end here. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Netflix's future. What do you think their next big move will be? Head over to our website or social media channels and share your predictions.
And don't forget to check out the full shareholder letter, which we'll link to in the show notes. There's a wealth of information in there for anyone interested in delving deeper into Netflix's strategy and financial performance.
Thanks for joining us on the Daily Earnings Reports podcast. We'll be back soon with another episode exploring the latest developments in the world of business and finance. Until then, keep those streaming queues full and those investment portfolios diversified. Yeah, it's really amazing how Netflix has been able to not just stay relevant, but really thrive in this, constantly changing landscape.
It really does,
Yeah.
It speaks to their willingness to adapt and evolve. They're not afraid to experiment and try new things, which is, I think, so crucial in an industry that's constantly being disrupted.
Yeah. One thing that really stood out to me in this earnings report was their commitment to global storytelling. It's clear they see the world as their audience.
Yeah, and they're not just paying lip service to diversity. They're actively seeking out stories from different cultures and perspectives, which is, it's enriching the viewing experience for everyone.
It's not just about entertainment anymore, right? It's about
Sure.
understanding different cultures and connecting with people from all walks of life.
Exactly, exactly. They're using their platform to um, amplify voices that might not, otherwise be heard, and that's pretty powerful.
And it's working. I mean, those international hits we were talking about earlier are proof that that audiences are hungry for stories that go beyond their own borders.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that we're all connected, no matter where we come from, and that stories have the power to bridge divides and bring us closer together.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Netflix's Q4 earnings report, what's the biggest takeaway for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is that, Netflix is a company that is constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the entertainment industry. They're not content with the status quo, and they're always looking for new ways to innovate and grow.
They're a company that understands the power of stories,
Yeah.
and they're using that power to connect with audiences all over the world.
And they're not showing any signs of slowing down. So buckle up, because the next chapter of the Netflix story is going to be even more exciting than the last.
Well said. On that note, I want to thank you for joining us on this episode of the Daily Earnings Reports podcast.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Netflix's earnings, don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast wherever you're listening from.
And be sure to check out the show notes for a link to Netflix's full shareholder letter. We'll be back soon with another episode exploring the latest developments in the business world.
Until then, stay curious and keep those streaming queues full.